Well, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I'm going to read y'all a story today. It is here about a grumpy Mr. Grinch. Now, I really hope none of y'all are Grinches. I dressed up for the holiday. You see that? That right there is what you would call a hat. A holiday hat. See, I got all dolled up for you this holiday season. I'm about to celebrate. All right, I even got my pearls, my pearly necklace, and my pearl earrings there. That's right. Goodness gracious, it took me quite a little while to get all ready for you. And I got my bundled, my little blanket here, my little trees. I hope you're all cozied up, right, ready for the holiday season. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Now, he looks like a grumpy goose. I tell you what. Oh, honey, I really hope he changes his ways. So let's get started. How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. I bet you he's got quite a fine PhD. Here we go. Every who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. Look at that. It's just one, though. It's a beautiful wreath. But the Grinch who lived just north of Whoville did not... Oh, my hat. Probably not gonna work. I'm gonna put that down for now. Did not. The Grinch hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all is that his heart was 2 sizes too small. I think that maybe his cornbread just wasn't quite done in the middle. Look at those eyes. You gotta cook all the way through. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town, for he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. Oh, well, bless your heart, you just wish you were down there too, that's all, if he just only knew. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Oh, tomorrow is Christmas, it's practically here. Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow he knew. Uh-oh, what do you think, y'all? What do you think he knew? Sounds like he's been through this ringer before, huh? Oh, color come out. Merry, merry. All the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise. Oh, the noise. That's one thing he hated is the noise. Now, if I need my nap, I tell you what, I don't like that noise either. So there's a time and a place. But come on, he's up high in that mountain. What kind of noise is he hearing? Look at that. It looks like fun toys. Look at that drum. Bang on that drum. Little drummer boy right there. Then the Who's young and old would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast. They would, and now I'm hungry. Okay. Oh, back to it. They would feast on Who pudding. They would feast on rare roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. Look at that. Look at all of them. That better be one big beast. And then they do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand. The Who's would start a-singing. They'd sing and they'd sing and they'd sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming, but how? See that? They got how in all capitals, too. They do a lot of capitals. That's anger right there. You can put capitals. Something's wrong. Grab my nose. I know all about them capitals. Woo! Then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. Oh, he looks a little mischievous. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat. And he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked. What a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No. You think then the book be over, right? No, the Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. That seems a little bit inappropriate. You can't make a reindeer. That's rude. So he called his dog Max. Oh no, the poor dog. What's going to happen to him, little buddy? Then he took some red thread and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. That's torture. I told you it wasn't going to be right. He's got to wear a horn on his head. He's too little. Oh. Punctuation Puppy would not approve. No way. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks. On a ramshackle sleigh, he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, get up! And the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Who's lay a snooze in their town. So they're all just trying to cozy on up and go sleep. Little do they know. Oh, good Lord. Have mercy. All their windows were dark. Quiet snow filled the air. All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, this is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed. And he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Uh-oh. He is up to no good. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch. But if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once, for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue. Where the little Who stockings all hung in a row, these stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. Man, he is sure having a fun time ruining Christmas. I tell you what. Me and this Grinch need to have a little sit down and have a little talk about what's correct and what is right to do around people. He's taught his manners. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn and plums, and he stuffed them in bags, and the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. I'm exhausted just thinking about this. You should just take a nap like bears do, you know what I mean? And just let it be and just let Christmas happen if he's that miserable. This seems like a lot of work for something he don't really care about. I know if I'm too tired, I just put my blankie on, come up with a nice warm cup of tea. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. What is a beast? What kind of beast are they eating? You need extra glue on these dentures for that. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash while that Grinch, he even took their last can of Who hash. Now he's leaving them starving. Now that is horrific. Someone needs to teach this boy a lesson. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee, and now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up that tree. seriously. And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove when he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned round fast and he saw a small little Cindy Lou who was no more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny daughter, who got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She was thirsty. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?" Ooh. Oh, she's quite tiny. She's micro. Oh, micro little. Ooh. I'm proud of that one. But you know, that old Grinch was so smart and so slick, he thought up a lie and he thought it up quick. "Why, my sweet little tot," the fake Santa Claus lied, "there's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there. Then I'll bring it back here." And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted her head and he got her a drink and he sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Well, he just lied, didn't he? There's the other picture for you. I do not approve of this boy right now. Then the last thing he took was the log for their fire, and then he went up the chimney himself, that old liar. On their walls, he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for that there mouse. Poor little guy. Nothing for him to eat either. I'm fixing to jump into this book right now. I'm just going to get on in there. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. There it is. My, aren't you just so proud of yourself, Mr. Grinch? Oh, it was dawn, all the Who's still abed, all the Who's still a snooze, when he packed up his sled, packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. That's like everything. Oh. Well, ain't that a busted can of biscuits right there? I'll tell you what. Just grinds my gears. 3,000 feet up the side of Mr. Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. "Poo-poo to the Who's," he was grinishly humming. "They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry boo-hoo." Oh. Look at that. Look at that. He's right at the top there. Goodness gracious. "That's a noise," grinned the Grinch, "that I simply must hear." So he paused and the Grinch put his hand to his ear and he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low. Then it started to grow. What you think it's going to be? What you think it's going to be? Mercy me, I bet you it's something good, right? You know the story. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, the sound sounded glad. It sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry. Very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. There it is. Oh, he's surprised, all right. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or another, it came just the same. Look at that. They're all still singing. And it's bright red. You know what's the colors? I feel like the colors are almost like a hint, right? The bright, pretty, bright red is like, should be a positive spot. And he's always in the dark area. And red is like the happy Christmas. Maybe. I don't know. It's Dr. Seuss thing. Whew. heavens to Betsy, let's see how it goes. And the Grinch with his Grinch feet, ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. Well, slower than molasses, but I think, by George, he's got it. There it is. Okay. So what happened then? Well, in Whoville, they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed his load through the bright morning light, and he brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And so here we go, there he is, bringing it all down. And turn this here page. He himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast. There it is. So the roast beast is starting to look like a turkey. Or a ham. I like me that honey ham. Drizzle with some sweet brown sugar. Now I'm hungry-er. Why does this book always make me want to eat? Oh. So that is how the Grinch stole Christmas, but then he returned it. So how the Grinch borrowed and returned Christmas might be a more appropriate title. I appreciate you taking the time with me. I hope y'all have a very Merry Christmas. I better go with my hat back on. I'm going to sing some carols. Oh, Christmas tree, have a nice Christmas, chickadees. Oh, where's the button? Can't find the button. Where is it?